well. Getting the return ball. Hardly with a chance to get it in towards Holdsworth, and oh! That was so close once again. Hasn't really threatened that often, Dean Holdsworth. When he does get forward, I think he's got a great chance of scoring. Good header that time. It's close to that far post. Ferry up with the header. Falls for a Curry. Now Trollope looking to play it through for Hancocks. Goodrich picks up the loose ball. Immediately Barton on him, putting it out into touch. Kelly then with the throw. McCory getting away from his man well. Trying to deliver the cross in now. Put away for the corner this time. Gary Elkins opting for a safety-first policy. We don't really want to give anything away. Given a pretty professional performance so far tonight. Goodrich then with the corner, curled in towards the near post, and should have been cleared. It isn't, and Burton gets up with a header, and it's eventually put away by Mick Harford. Well, really, that was an opportunity to clear the ball. It went way up in the air. Burton getting up with the header. And eventually, it's Mick Harford who puts it away for another corner. Held in from the other side this time. Sager's coming to claim it, claiming it well. Came off Burton. Karen Wilkie in play. Finds Hathaway. Return ball, struck quite firmly, but Curran playing it forward, and that, in fact, will be the last action of this Coca-Cola Cup tie, and indeed the last Coca-Cola Cup action of the season as far as Torquay United are concerned. A creditable performance from them here at Plainmoor this evening. Really was that goal from Dean Holdsworth before half-time that killed them off. Made it 1-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate, and Torquay United go out of the competition. Final score then, here at Plainmoor. Torquay United 0, Wimbledon 1. Wimbledon win 3-0 on aggregate.
Don, a disappointing result in the end, but I suppose a performance that you can take some pleasure from.
Yes, there was an improvement, I feel, in the performance. Some of our recent league performance and sort of cup performances haven't been very good at all. We played against Premier opposition tonight, and I felt we held our own for most of the game. We failed to score, which is what wins games. Wimbledon scored one of their typical goals, a long ball flicked on out wide, crossed in goal, and give them credit for that. But I was just disappointed that we didn't get a goal and didn't get a result.
You said at the start that you needed really to get an early goal, and you had a couple of early opportunities, didn't you?
Yes, both Richard and Paul. Greggy got a great cross in for Richard early on. I don't know how far away from me he was. And Paul had a chance, which I think he changed his mind. I think it was a definite diving header. His head's bigger than his foot, and he would have got more of his head on the ball than he did on the foot, and he screwed it wide. There's been too many results now gone the wrong way, and we have got to build on tonight's performance. We've got to take that now into the league form, and if we do play like that in the league, we're going to win more than we'll lose. There's no doubt about it. We've got to learn why we haven't been playing well and why we played well tonight. We've got to stop people scoring goals, and we've got to take a chance when they come along. But there was a lot of good signs tonight. There was a few people come back into form, which is pleasing. And as I say, Gillingham, look out.
So a brave fight by Torquay, but at least they can concentrate now on regaining their league form. They're away to Gillingham.
Rely on Stewart's opposite.
Incidentally, you can see that
Nothing seems to be going quite right for Torquay United at the moment. Chris Pike's solitary goal, courtesy of more questionable defending, heralded another blank weekend for the Gulls. Although United had their chances after that, it was generally a below-par performance.
Well, thankfully, it was a rather more successful weekend for the region on the rugby.
They certainly look more committed than of late. Darren Moore set up Paul Trollope for the opening goal after 21 minutes, and everything seemed to be going right, until United pushed the self-destruct button 9 minutes before half-time.
This one in, Bayes coming for it, not getting to it at all, and it's going to be tucked in the end by Peters. Oh, what a goalkeeping disaster for Ashley Bayes.
But for once, Torquay weren't to be outdone, though they had to wait until 8 minutes from time to scramble the winner when Mansfield keeper Jason Pearcey punched Ian Hathaway's corner into his own net. Exeter City could hardly have made a worse start to their match at Craven Cottage. They were a goal
despite taking a first-half lead against Swansea at Plainmoor. Despite close attention from the visiting defenders. Torquay's season has been littered with problems at the back. And there was a similar story last night. They failed to clear Johnny Hodges' 32nd minute corner, and John Hendry, on loan from Tottenham, made no mistake at the second time of asking. Hendry also took full advantage of a defensive mix-up just before the break. Chris Curran misjudged the long ball, and confusion between Darren Moore and keeper Ashley Bayes gave the Premiership player the chance to slot home from the angle. Torquay only had themselves to blame for the visitors' third goal a minute from time. Sloppy passing gave Jason Bowen the chance to round Bayes and send Swansea and Hereford into the next round of the competition.
Tennis now, and Devon's Valder Lake carries British hopes at the Brighton International. Player manager Don O'Riordan rang the changes for Saturday's visit of Rochdale. To say the gamble worked is an understatement. Gregory Goodridge marked his return to the side with a stunning strike just before the break. But Torquay's defensive frailties surfaced again when Rochdale skipper Andy Thackeray was given the space to slide the ball past Ashley Bayes from the edge of the box. Instead of crumbling, the new-look Gulls simply tore the Lancashire side to pieces after that. First-time striker Kevin Hodges led the charge, hooking home Tom Kelly's clever free kick to restore the Gulls' lead, and then helping Ian Hathaway unlock the Rochdale defence for his first of the season. Hodges set up the fourth as well, swinging in a pinpoint cross for Goodridge to head home. After a tactical triumph which had lifted his side back to 6th in the table, O'Riordan quickly quashed the rumours linking him with a vacancy at Grimsby Town.
Nobody's approached us. If they advertise a job, I won't be applying for it, sort of thing. You know, I'm very happy here. I love it in Torquay, and as I say, time will tell. But my main concern is Torquay United at the moment, and hopefully 3 points at Doncaster next week.
Exeter City let 2 points slip against Scunthorpe at St James's Park after recovering well from the
travel sickness continued at Bellevue, where Warren Hackett's 50th minute goal set the pattern for a depressing second half in which Torquay really looked like getting back into the game. But Doncaster had to wait until 4 minutes from time to turn their pressure into a second goal, courtesy of Graham Jones. Their third and best arrived 3 minutes later, when Jamie Lawrence produced the perfect finish from Jones's cross. The defeat means that Torquay haven't won away since August, although they remain in 7th spot in the table. After their midweek demonstrations, Yeovil Town's fans were in slightly...
Police manage a share of the spoils at Plainmoor, but after taking the lead through a Lee Barrow header from Chris Brass's cross and dominating the first half, they were left hanging on for a point by full time. Scunthorpe equalised straight after the interval, an unmarked Graham Alexander crossing for Ian Jurieff to loop the ball over Ashley Bayes. From then on, Torquay were scrambling to stay in it, and were lucky to avoid their second home defeat of the league campaign.
Tom Skipping's reporting. Well, now on to rugby, and Exeter have been given...
Like the furthest last season, they have professional standards, and in facing 3rd Division Torquay today, they're up against a side who've fallen into non-league opposition for the last 3 seasons. It's John Motson in the commentary box.
As Kidderminster Harriers emerged from beneath their recently opened Reynolds stand, they know that had those 1,100 seats been there last season, they would now be meeting their Ensley League opponents Torquay on equal terms. The Vauxhall Conference champions have had to spend nearly £500,000 to bring this Agborough ground up to league standard after being rejected for promotion last May. £40,000 went on new floodlights, replacing those that were used for the historic first ever floodlit FA Cup tie in this country nearly 40 years ago. And in keeping with those cup traditions, Kidderminster are able to include 9 survivors from last season's voyage to the 5th round. The 2 absentees, Paul Davis and John Purdy, have both been injured. But at number 3, Paul Bancroft, the man who returned from his honeymoon yesterday, replaces the suspended Paul Webb. And at number 11, 18-year-old Lee Hughes has been attracting attention from the big clubs. Several league scouts are here to watch him today. He's Harriers' top scorer this season. Torquay United have gone out of the FA Cup to non-league opposition for the last 3 seasons and are currently on a run of 5 successive away defeats. But player manager Don O'Riordan at number 4 brings himself back into the starting lineup today. he led Torquay to the semi-finals of the playoffs last season. Referee Dermot Gallagher of Banbury gets the match started on what's bound to be quite a heavy pitch. It's been raining in Kidderminster most of the night and this morning, but here come Torquay in yellow and blue. Number 11 there is Tom Kelly, and the through ball for Okori, the Nigerian. Not a member of their squad next Wednesday at Wembley, but nonetheless a pacey striker. Chika Okori. Kidderminster in their traditional red and white halves. And that's Hancock's for Torquay. Norman Medhurst on the right there on the Torquay bench. He's the former England physio. Well played by Palmer. He's got Humphreys outside him and Hughes in the middle. Still Les Palmer. It's a long and successful association between Graham Allner and Kidderminster Harriers. He really has been one of the most prominent non-league managers down the years. Kelly leaving the throw to Curran. Okori. Oh, well played. This is Hancock's. Trollops in there. Just over his head, it's going to come to Tom Kelly. And a deflection on that. Sent it out for a corner. Tom Kelly has got a good left foot. And I fancy that clipped for Scythe. As it, yes, number 6 got a foot in, and it's a corner. Headed out by Yates, but only as far as Hathaway. And there could be a break on for Kidderminster here. But it's Kelly. O'Riordan. Hathaway looking for Okori. And Brindley allowing the ball to run. And Ashley Bayes coming out. Has to be careful on this surface. There's an offside there, the player running back, but it isn't the easiest of days for goalkeepers. The rain has started to fall again now. Slippery ball. Now Stamps. Trollope. Okori with a chance. Couldn't quite set himself. Kelly. Well, the muddy penalty area had a part to play in all that. Kelly crossed with himself. He might have preferred it on his left foot, but it was Okori first of all who couldn't quite get the shot in, and then Kelly steered it wide. I think it stuck in the mud there, almost underneath the feet of Okori. Forward by Brindley. Cleared by the opposite number 5, Darren Moore. Humphreys. Hodgson. Hughes is there. But on the break, it's Torquay with Hathaway. It's a good run by the number 10. Okori. Well, I think both goalkeeper and colleagues were expecting him to pull that back to start with, but Okori here takes on Brindley and tries to drive it into the near post area, smothered by Kevin Rose. It's Humphries with a second chance. Ball came back to him off Lee Barrow. This is Hodgson. Hughes wants it played into the channel. 3 waiting in the middle for Kidderminster. Hodgson again. Not a bad cross, and it's going to come to Granger. These Kidderminster players are part-timers. Most of them have other jobs. Late challenge by Granger. And Dermot Gallagher was well placed to see it. Yellow card. So Reardon grappling with Hodgson. Stamps. Here's Humphries. Oh, and Barrow slipped, and Delwyn Humphries, yes! In off the post for Kidderminster. Delwyn Humphries, the GM Vauxhall Player of the Year last season, and a really popular player here at Agborough. Doesn't need asking twice with a chance like that, and I think what happens is that Lee Barrow, as Palmer heads the ball on, the defender just loses his footing here slightly. As Humphries comes inside him, well, he was already perhaps beaten, and the shot is in off the post. And the 29-year-old builder, who has figured in the previous cup exploits of Kidderminster Harriers, comes inside his man and beats Ashley Bayes across in off the post. The first half ends on a high note for the non-leaguers. And it was Delwyn Humphries who scored the winner here against Preston in the 4th round last season, who gets the goal that gives Kidderminster Harriers the edge today. And a good finish it was too. Some indication of the conditions there at Agborough as the teams start the second half with Kidderminster's tails up. Here's Hughes. I should think Don O'Riordan's had to do some pretty hard talking in the Torquay dressing room, but they're defending again now. Well, that's a good one too, and Humphries is involved again. Hughes. This is Yates with the touch. I must say, when I saw Kidderminster play at Dagenham and Redbridge a couple of weeks ago, Delwyn Humphries really was an impressive figure. He's a very mobile centre-forward who moves around from one side of the pitch to the other and drags defenders with him. Humphries goes again here. What a threat this man is to Torquay, and that was so close to his second. Agonising for him. But a let-off for the Ensley League side here. But the way he began that move and then picked it up again and drove wide of the defenders and cut the shot just past the far post. Very impressive. Onside. It was Hodgson's pass. This is Palmer. Humphries and Hughes are waiting in the middle, but he didn't deliver the ball that they wanted, Les Palmer. That was an opening for Kidderminster to go 2 up, and he's acknowledged it too. Torquay caught in defence, looking for a linesman's flag that never came. Humphries, who can do nothing wrong, and look at the chase here. They've got 3 coming up inside him. Well, it was Granger who had to make the decision whether to play it early or hang on, and in the end, Scott Stamps got to him. But Torquay were outnumbered. So, Forsyth to take the corner for Kidderminster. Brindley! Oh, up the line! Torquay are living here too dangerously for their own good. 3 times now, Kidderminster could have gone 2 goals clear. And it was the centre-back, Chris Brindley, who was denied there. Hodgson. And Torquay aren't marking well at the back at the moment. Granger. Weir. Hughes. Forsyth. They're knocking it about well, Kidderminster. This is Yates. It's a 7-man move, that. Humphreys. What a pest he is. And Kidderminster forced the corner. Brindley's last header was cleared off the line, but it's a shorter one this time. Back from Granger to Forsyth. And he's beaten his man. And there's the header, and there's the... No, offside, I think. Palmer may be offside. I'm not sure the celebrations aren't premature. The linesman on our side there, Tony Mills, was flagging Forsyth down to the lines from the flick on here that Palmer is adjudged to be in an offside position when he scores, or thought he'd scored. It's a narrow one, but it doesn't count. I'm trying to think of a real chance that Torquay have made. Certainly not in this second half. They're being out-chased and out-manoeuvred now, the league side. And nearly all the possession is with Kidderminster Harriers. Bancroft. Humphreys. Danger again. Oh, look at that. Such good close skill near to the line. Corner. It was more defending. O'Riordan tries to stem the tide and find Hancock's. This is O'Corey. Now Hathaway. Trollope. Hathaway. He's got the cross in here, and there's the header. Hancock's. Hathaway gets the best cross of the day in for Torquay, and Hancock's header just glancing possibly off the crossbar. So Goodridge wearing number 12 and Hodges wearing number 14 are the men who Torquay have brought on. Goodridge normally operates on the right-hand side as a wide player. Here's Hodges. Danger there for... Oh, and the shot's got in, yes! It's Hathaway. It's Ian Hathaway for Torquay. And suddenly Kidderminster's lead disappears. The 2 substitutions, then the cross. Brindley got a foot to it, and Hathaway drives it through a crowd of defenders, and the Ensley League side are level. Hodges figured in that move has just come on, but it's Hathaway whose left foot is accurate there. And we're back to 1-1. 74 minutes. Well worked. It's Hathaway with the cross. Hancock's coming in at the back, and somehow they've scrambled it away from the line. Only just. I think it may have been Weir that finally got the ball clear there from that muddy goal mouth. Here's Humphreys. O'Riordan's challenge, full-blooded stuff now. And here's Hughes, he's got Curran to beat, took it early. Thoughtful. The chance to actually win this game was there in the second half early on. They didn't take it. Well, Forsyth's back heel was a little bit extravagant there. It's given Torquay possession effectively, and Hodges is to his left, but he may not need him. Yes, he will. Hodges! Oh, he miskicked and now he's offside. Now Hathaway's offside. What a comedy that was, because Hathaway, I thought, was going to go right through and score himself. It was a good run by the number 10. Here he comes, taking them on, going wide. Now, a lovely unselfish ball, but what a mess Hodges made of that. And in miss-kicking, he made Hathaway offside. But there was a chance for Torquay to win the game. Good skill from Brindley. Tries to get Humphreys away with about a minute to go. Granger's in the penalty area, so is Hughes. It's Humphreys, and Ashley Bayes makes the save that may have kept Torquay in the cup. With his legs, doesn't matter how you stop them. This is Delwyn Humphreys yet again, inside more, but good goalkeeping there. Got the angles right. But Kidderminster still have the corner. Oh, there's a trip there, and the referee will want to speak to Bancroft, I think. In the 90th minute, the man who began the week by getting married and going on honeymoon looks as though he's going to end it with a yellow card. There's the recently wed Mrs. Bancroft, who may be feeling that the honeymoon is just taking its toll. And there's going to be another offence by Granger, and he was booked earlier. If the referee saw that as a second bookable offence, Granger, number 8 for Kidderminster, is in trouble. We're well into stoppage time, but Granger was cautioned in the first half. A second yellow means a red. So Paul Granger finds himself sent off in the 93rd minute. The referee deciding that here, as Hodges goes in, that is a trip, no question about it, and he has to go. So Kidderminster will finish this tie with 10 men. As Granger gets applause and walks sadly away. This first round FA Cup tie goes back to Plainmoor, Torquay, a week on Wednesday. Delwyn Humphreys, who led the charge for Kidderminster for so long, scored the goal. They might well have added to that lead, but they didn't. And then Torquay, who'd been out of the game for long periods, found a way back to equalise after 74 minutes through Ian Hathaway. And then in the dying seconds, Kidderminster had a man sent off. They may feel they should have had the game sewn up earlier. As it is, Torquay got off the hook and now have home advantage in the replay.
We began to get a grip just before half-time, got the goal, and then came out at half-time and really had a go. And I thought we dominated the game at that time, had a goal disallowed, had one or two other chances, and perhaps should have wrapped it up then. Didn't do it, and just allowed Torquay back in late on in the game. And to be quite honest, in the end, I think we were happy with the draw.
Well, we're relieved, as you can imagine, after going a goal down, after being in control for most of the first half. That was the frustrating part, and disappointing the way we conceded a goal. But I knew that we got great character in the team. We weren't going to lie down and die. Having watched them, I felt that fitness might tell towards the end, which I thought it did. A couple of substitutions worked, and I feel we got our just rewards, at least a draw. I'd have been a bit disappointed if we'd have lost today.
People watching that match on Match of the Day might say, why has this fellow Humphreys never played league football if you can play like that?
Well, the smallest league crowd of the day turned up for Torquay's 1-1 draw at Scarborough. 1,241 fans saw Jason White put the home side 1-up just before half-time. But it was a game where Torquay deserved at least a point. And when Ian Hathaway's corner was only half cleared, Paul Buckle struck a 60th minute equaliser. United should have gone on to claim all 3 points. Chima Akuri missed the best chance, firing wide after the keeper's error of judgment. Exeter's game at Walsall sprung to life in first-half injury time.
Vauxhall Conference side Kidderminster were cruelly beaten in their FA Cup replay at Torquay, with the game apparently heading into an extra half an hour. 3 minutes of stoppage time played when a speculative shot by Richard Hancock's somehow squirmed through goalkeeper Kevin Rose's hands and legs. A win that takes Torquay away to Enfield in the second round.
That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you for Match of the Day Saturday night. Till then, cheerio.
It was disallowed, but the signs were ominous. The Gulls, knocked out of the FA Cup by non-league opposition for the past 3 seasons, found it hard to keep Kidderminster at bay. With the drums beating behind him, Ian Hathaway's strike came close to steadying the home side's nerves. And then 10 minutes before half-time, Torquay too had a goal ruled out. The whistle had gone before Kevin Hodges turned home the corner. In the second half, both sides appeared content to hang on for extra time. That was only seconds away when keeper Kevin Rose experienced the worst moment of his career.
I was looking forward to extra time because after the way we finished up there, I felt our fitness would probably tell. Then Richard had a shot out of the blue, and then he heard a shout and realised the ball had gone in the back of the net. A little bit of sympathy for Kidderminster, but as I say, I'm glad it's us in the next round and not them.
Torquay now travel to Enfield for the next round a week on Saturday.
Well, we're getting excited here. Why? Only a matter of hours.
Well, from Martin Dean live at St James's Park, we can go straight to Plainmoor, where Torquay United could only manage a goalless draw against Wigan. A full report now from Tom Skippings.
Yes, an instantly forgettable game, I'm afraid, and Torquay will take little consolation from the fact that this was their first league clean sheet of the season. They never really looked like breaking down a Wigan side who were 4th from bottom of the table this morning, and as we can see now, it could have been even worse for the Gulls. Early into Hancock's. Here's Hathaway, will try the shot, that's bobbling around. Trollope, the header there from Kelly at the back post. Well, it came to him by surprise, really, Tom Kelly. Hathaway's attempt at goal became a cross. Bobbling in the end to Tom Kelly, met it with the header and drew a good save from Simon Farnworth. In it comes, Bays is stretched by this one, strong at the back post, jumping for it. Still got it in there, and it's in, and Wigan have taken the lead. No, they haven't. The whistle's gone, the result's a penalty. The result is a penalty. Well, I didn't see the handball or the foul or whatever has caused this, but Wigan have a penalty 27 minutes into the first half. Leonard will take it against Bays. Saved by Ashley Bays. Wonderful save, diving to his right to palm that away. The penalty from Mark Leonard. Reardon takes it to Hathaway. Hodges. Comes to Trollope for the shot. Oh! Poor Trollope with the shot. Goodridge does well. And finds Hathaway. Hathaway now will try the shot. Oh, wonderful save from Farnworth. Marvellous save. Ian Hathaway has had a busy afternoon, released by Gregory Goodridge, waiting for the ball to come into his path and hitting it first time with his left foot. And Farnworth there with a wonderful one-handed save, forcing it away for the corner. So Ashley Bay's penalty save earning Torquay a share of the spoils at least, but obviously this is the kind of game they need to be winning if they're to mount a real promotion push. The goals have scored...
The clubs out of the FA Cup, including Cardiff in the first round this year. Before the game, their manager George Borg said he would treat the first half like a game of chess, but he probably wasn't counting on the former Nigerian international Shima Okuri putting Torquay in front after just 46 seconds. Fruit and veg seller Gary Abbott has scored in every cup match Enfield have played this year, and he kept up that incredible record with an equaliser after 13 minutes. The two clubs meet again a week on Tuesday. There was an all Diodora League fixture at Kingstonian.
Must fancy their chance.
Joining Mark Tyler.
Well, this is a tie that Torquay fans will probably view with some trepidation. Despite that victory over Kidderminster in round one, Torquay have a less than enviable record against non-league opposition, and they'll be hoping to do something about that tonight. And of course, there's the added financial incentive of a round 3 game at Filbert Street against Premiership Leicester City. Well, to book that passage, the Gulls will need to improve on a scoring record of just 5 goals in their last 8 outings. The addition of Gregory Goodridge and Dwayne Darby to the squad suggests that manager Donna Reardon may change his strike force tonight, and he could abandon the 5-man defence he used both at Carlisle on Saturday and when these sides met at Enfield 11 days ago. Torquay will be hoping that home advantage is enough to see them through to Filbert Street. Well, with me now, of course, is the Torquay United manager, Donna Reardon. Don, are you confident about tonight?
You've got to be confident. We're at home, and I'm always confident when we play here. I think we've lost once this season here, and it'll be a tough game tonight, I'm sure. But the lads that I'm putting out tonight, I'm sure will be able to cope with the job and hopefully get us into the tie against Leicester at Filbert Street.
Now, we talked about the goal-scoring record in recent games, just 2 goals in the last 5 games. Where are the goals going to come from tonight?
Well, I've gone very offensive tonight with Gregory Goodridge on one wing, Ian Hathaway on the other, Kevin Hodges, who played ever so well here against Rochdale in the season, and Dwayne Darby, who's been out injured for a while. I've put Chima and Richard on the bench, so we've gone very, very attack-minded tonight. I'm hoping that the 2 lads who've come in, Kevin and Dwayne, will be able to do the trick tonight.
Now, a game against Leicester City is a real mouth-watering prospect, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, to play against a Premier League club is an ambition of all the players. We got a taste of it in the last round of the Littlewoods against Wimbledon, and I feel that it's such a big carrot tonight that the boys will be really, really wound up and raring to go, sort of thing. So it's a lovely prospect, as you say, and we're looking forward to it.
OK, Don, I know you've got your lucky green jacket on. Good luck to Torquay United tonight. We'll keep our fingers crossed for them. Hopefully, Leicester City in round 3. Back to you in the studio, Tom.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Mark. Exeter City.
Well, the cost of missing out on a 3rd round FA Cup tie against Leicester City. United were denied a place against the Premiership side after being beaten by Enfield last night. The girls have now been eliminated by a non-league side 4 years in a row.
Enfield, who'd held Torquay to a draw at their own ground 10 days earlier, always looked threatening and had chances to take the lead in the opening minutes. But the crucial moment of the game came on the stroke of half-time when Torquay's keeper Ashley Bayes was sent off for a reckless challenge on Martin St-Hilaire. Enfield took the lead after 53 minutes when Paul Hobson's free kick was headed into the net by disc jockey Andy Kerr. Enfield too had a man sent off soon afterwards for an off-the-ball incident. Several Torquay players were fortunate not to be punished as the referee struggled to regain control. Kevin Hodges came the closest to equalising, but his shot rebounded off the woodwork and Dwayne Darby failed to find the net with his follow-up.
It's an awful feeling, you know, from my own point of view, personal point of view. My team didn't perform, and the fans must feel let down as well. You know, the players don't go out to play badly or not to play well, but we didn't have many who played well tonight.
Enfield now travel to Premiership side Leicester City in the 3rd round.
Better news for Torquay now. In last night's spotlight,
Lincoln City by 2 goals to 1, and Tom Skippings was there for West Country.
Yes, Torquay getting the win they desperately needed after that FA Cup disaster in midweek, but they had to battle all the way for it after going ahead through Richard Hancock's just before the break. Lincoln equalised midway through the 2nd period, and in the end, as we can see now, it took a piece of magic from Torquay's newest arrival to clinch the 3 points.
Reardon. Goodridge. He's done well again. Can he whip in the cross? Cuts inside. Does better with the cross this time. Oh!
And that's big Darren Moore on the back post. Forward it goes. Here's Sturridge looking to get on the end of it. Dean Sturridge with the shot. Well, that came from nowhere, and the angle looked far too acute, but Dean Sturridge really cracked one in there, and that drew a fine save from Andy Leading, who just parried it away for the corner. Goodrich swings it in. It comes all the way across the back post. Hancock's with the shot, and Richard Hancock's has opened the scoring. Torquay United take the lead just before half-time. It's Torquay 1, Lincoln 0. Torquay need to be on their guard here. Trevor Hebbert on the edge of the penalty area. In it comes. Bayes is coming forward and not getting anywhere near it. And in the end, it's just tapped home. Tony Dawes with the goal. The cross coming in from the corner. And Ashley Bayes really getting himself in all sorts of trouble. It's a poor cross from O'Riordan, really is. Just gives away possession to Matthews. But Torquay have battled hard for it. Sturridge. Sturridge with the shot. Dean Sturridge has hit the winner, has he? With 3 minutes remaining, Dean Sturridge on his debut for Torquay has found the space to slide one past Andy Leading and into the corner of the net.
So Dean Sturridge marking an impressive debut with that precious goal, and he certainly looks capable of providing the strike power that the Gulls have sorely been missing so far this season. Not a vintage
Boxing Day victory at St James's Park. Despite taking the lead with a well-executed Stuart Storer goal after 30 minutes, Exeter were easily second best on a day when passion and commitment would prove decisive. Don O'Riordan's side had both by the sackful, and it was no surprise when Darren Moore put United back on level terms midway through the second half. After that, there was only ever going to be one winner. The big surprise that it took United until 3 minutes from time to get it. Gregory Goodrich flicked on Hathaway's corner, and manager O'Riordan's cool finish gave the United supporters the best Christmas present of all. City's Boxing Day disappointment was matched by Plymouth. Pitch though, and Torquay United looked to be on course for another Yuletide victory when loan signing Dean Sturridge grabbed his second goal for the club with an excellent finish midway through the first half. But after their marathon journey from the northeast, Hartlepool were in no mood to go home empty-handed. United stand-in keeper Paul Pettinger gifted them an equaliser when he upended Scott Sloan, and Nicky Southall made no mistake with the spot kick. With the wind behind them, the visitors looked much stronger in the second half, and when Paul Thompson hopefully stuck out his boot to wrong-foot Pettinger and give the visitors an 82nd minute lead, it seemed as if United's luck had finally run out. But with just seconds remaining, the linesman spotted an off-the-ball incident in the Hartlepool area. The referee booked keeper Brian Horn for pushing Dean Sturridge, and it was left to man of the match Tom Kelly to give United a share of the spoils at the second time of asking. Well, Exeter's Christmas went from bad to worse at Hereford. Neil Lyne.
United kicked off their new year in perfect fashion, with 3 points and a touch of revenge. Preston were responsible for the Gulls' low point of 1994 in last season's playoffs, and they should have taken an early lead yesterday, Graham Atkinson somehow managing to turn Alan Smart's cross against the post. But after that, it was all Torquay. John Vaughan's save from Chima Okori, one of a number of first-half chances for the home side. They finally took the lead just before the break, when Don O'Riordan's chip was met on the volley by Dean Sturridge, the on-loan striker claiming his third goal in 4 games, despite Ian Hathaway's final flourish. Torquay kept up the pressure in the second period, and Sturridge drew another good save from Vaughan 10 minutes from time. But for all their dominance, Torquay had to thank their other loanee for making sure of victory, young keeper Paul Pettinger, brilliantly saving Lee Cartwright's 25-yarder. The win gave the Gulls 7 points out of 9 from their holiday programme, the perfect platform for a New Year promotion push.
Good win that for Torquay. Tom Skipping's reporting. Well, now on to cricket, and while England's senior players fight back in Australia, Somerset...
Torquay's excellent run over Christmas and the New Year period came to an end at Scotland,